Ooh, would you look at that? Nice heavy-duty Ziploc bag. Got a chunk of leather in there. What does that say? Northwoods? Northwoods Knives Hawthorne Clip Point Smooth White Bone. Oh, you guys are going to love this one. Stick with me, guys. Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 15 January 2015, and boy, this is a video that I kind of forgot to make. And which is too bad because it's a pretty positive video. We're going to look tonight at, the Northwoods Knives Hawthorne Jack Clip Point and Smooth White Bone. So let's open up our Ziploc baggie, which is the shipping container for Northwoods Knives. No fancy box. What do we get inside here? Let's see. Got a knivesshipfree.com business card. I love Derrick's personal touches. Thanks for your order. I hope you absolutely love it. We are genuinely grateful for your continued business. Watch your email for special deals. You won't want to miss them. Whoops. And new slogan for knivesshipfree.com: the best place to buy knives, period, period, period. Awesome online retailer, guys. Love Derrick Bohn, Wendy, Tyler, and the gang in the warehouse. They're awesome. Get a nice big bag of desiccant with your Northwoods knife to avoid any corrosion issues. And like most Northwoods products, they come in a leather pocket slip. It looks like Derrick's gone away from the moccasin type slip with the fold over top and the tuckable tab. This much more simple Main Street pocket slip is what I prefer anyway. These used to come just embossed with the Knives Ship Free logo, and now the Northwoods knives, Northwoods branded knives, have Northwoods also embossed into the leather. These things are awesome. I carry anything larger than about a 3.5 inch traditional in the Main Street slip like this one. I use my small Chris Reeves slip for my small traditionals. Let's look at what's inside. Whew. Looky there. This is the Hawthorne Jack. The 2014 release, I believe fall of 2014. It is a robust, single-bladed, clip-point jackknife, which I know you purists don't hang me from the yard arm now. I know jackknives usually have a main blade and a pen blade that both work off the same pivot, but you know, what the heck, let's take a little editorial license and call these single bladers jacks too. Why not? Derrick does. You'll recognize the styling on this blade. As with many Great Eastern Cutlery produced Northwoods products of the last couple of years, it is a saber ground, flat ground traditional knife. And the flats on the blade still exhibit the heat treat scale, which is a very nice rustic touch. And then the Northwoods name boldly stamped into that flat just below a nice long pull. The Hawthorne is built on Great Eastern Cutlery's number 48 trapper frame, so it's a 3 7/8 inch long knife closed with a great blade to handle ratio. The blade is almost 3 1/8 inches long out of, doggone, that's darn near an 1/8 inch blade stock. It might be listed at 100 thousandths. Got a classic clip point blade with a beautiful swedge, which contrasts again with that heat treat scale brilliantly. And here's kind of the story on how I came to have this knife. This run of Northwoods Hawthornes happened at Great Eastern Cutlery right after, I think right after or right before, Mike Latham's SFO, Special Factory Order for 48 Trappers. And you guys have seen my abalone Mike Latham SFO trapper. That is a muskrat clip blade and a Warncliffe. So these 48s, the Knives Ship Free Northwoods Hawthorne, ran almost at the same time, and I didn't really want to buy one of each at that time, so this knife sort of slid off my list, which actually ends up being really unfortunate because I love the 48 handle. I just think it's gorgeous and super functional, great in hand. Sort of a serpentine pattern, or more of a serpentine, I guess I would call it, than a dog leg. Just very powerful grip in the saber grip, just due to this kick out of the pinky area and the swale that your thumb lies in. It's just really, really nice in the saber grip. But I passed on this knife. I bought one 48 frame knife last year, and I thought that was enough. And I guess end of the year in December, I really started to develop a desire for a robust, really sort of hard user, single bladed traditional. And about that time, Derrick was having his second run of Indian River Jacks done by Queen. I need to wipe my fingerprints here. That knife is just about this size, but completely different. Just a sort of a medium cigar pattern with a spear point blade, and the thing that attracted me to that knife to fill that application of sort of hard use traditional is that spear point blade was fashioned out of CPM 154 steel by Queen, and I knew that there had been some quality issues with the first run of Indian River Jacks, and I know Derrick sort of expected that those problems were going to be ironed out on the second run. He made a couple styling changes to the knife, put a long pull in it, and we had high hopes for those, and I actually ordered one. And we'll make this a short discussion. Let's just say Queen does not remotely have their quality issues put to bed. And that knife I returned for store credit, and I thought, man, well, I still don't have that knife I wanted for my hard use traditional application. Something I could really sort of beat on, use hard, and cut lots of stuff with that would really take it. That's why I really wanted that Indian River Jack to be good, because you can use the heck out of CPM 154 steel without having to sharpen it much. So after I returned that knife for credit, I thought, I really want to buy a Northwoods knife to use in this way, because I want to support Derrick. I think he is a great conservator of the traditional pocket knife, and I think it's great that he has resurrected the Northwoods name and has breathed new life into it with such enthusiasm, and I want him to succeed. I want the Northwoods brand to succeed. So I looked on the website for a pattern that I thought would work, and frankly by that time I had forgotten about this Hawthorne. And they made these in both this classic clip point blade and a Warncliffe, and I've got enough Warncliffes for now anyway. And they're really not a robust sort of hard use blade profile. And you guys know that I am a clip point guy. And because, well, the quality of this blade that makes it fill my bill is also the one quality of this blade that sort of made me not like it in the beginning. Can you guess what it is? Compare this clip point blade to a normal Great Eastern cutlery clip point. What's the difference? Well, you guessed it, instead of being full flat ground all the way up to the top, it's saber ground. So just a little more than half the breadth of that blade is where the bevel starts, which makes it a more obtuse primary bevel, which makes it kind of chunky and not as good a slicer as, you know, a Great Eastern cutlery version of this same blade blank. So generally, I'm not a big fan of the saber ground heat treat scale Northwoods family because I like my traditionals to be slicers. But this one I sort of bought for something different, didn't I? And it's still a great slicer. Don't be deceived. See how we did. Of course, no Great Eastern cutlery knife is much of a slicer right out of the box. You've heard me say this before, but they sort of come edge ready, and this one got one. Oops. There. See that sort of chunky geometry? Makes the S-curve cut a little difficult. Does much better just in a straight slice or a straight push cut. But you know what? I wasn't after pure slicing this time. I was after something I could sort of beat on. So that's what we got. A little bit thicker at the tip than most traditionals. And man, is it good looking. And with the single blade configuration, you can really maximize the ergonomics of the handle. You can come forward on it, use the choil and the blade tang effectively as a reference point or an indexing point for your hand. Full 4-finger grip on this thing. In the draw cut, just super nice. And then in that upside down sort of thumb draw cut, it's perfect. And the hammer grip for whittling, pretty good. And just super great in pocket. Let's take a look at fit and finish. This particular Hawthorne is in the smooth white bone, which I really like. You guys have seen my GEC Titty number 47 Viper. GEC called it smooth ivory bone, but they're almost the same color. Just a little bit of character in that smooth white bone. I love it. Well, let's look at fit and finish, shall we? When the knife is closed, our back spring's flush. Now you guys are going to note on 48s, because of the very thin profile at the pivot end of the handle and the desired spring tension, which is pretty stiff, at half stop, that back spring is proud, quite a bit proud. But when we're open, we are right back to flush. And let's check that pull. I would say strong 7, light 8. About like the number 78 American Jack. It's a little bit stiffer spring than on my my number 48 Abalone Trapper. But what you want in a knife like this, just ever so slight side to side play. I mean, it's really slight. And that's one, I think, downfall or something to just understand you're going to get. With the Northwoods knives that have the heat treat scale, as you use them, that scale is much, much, much softer than the steel underneath. It's essentially decarburized steel. So this is a 1095 steel blade, and that scale has much less carbon. Maybe instead of almost 1% carbon, less than half that decarb scale on the surface is very soft, maybe 0.2, 0.3% carbon, and not very abrasion resistant. I don't know if you can see where it starts to polish. If you look down by the base of the tang, from rubbing against the brass liners, as that scale sort of microscopically wears away, you'll get a little blade play. It's one of the reasons I generally don't prefer that scale finish, even though it sure is good looking. Okay, let's look at the rest of our fit and finish. We'll go straight to our normal GEC weak point, which is corner transitions from cover to bolster, and I can feel them. Just little sharp edges as I come off the bone cover onto the bolster. Not bad, but it's there. As we go down the back of the knife and the spine, everything looks beautiful. There are no gaps. Everything's dead smooth across the spine. When we get to the butt, I can just feel the liners. So not the best GEC work I've ever seen. And if we look into the blade well at the back spring, no finish grinding. We just sort of have a that punched finish that's been polished. You guys see the striations that are going this way? How's the back spring finished across? Pretty well. Very well. You know, I guess if I were going to categorize the finish quality of this knife compared to my SFO improved trapper in abalone, this is a cut below that, and with a much less expensive cover. Those abalone improved trappers sold on collectorknives.net for right at $150. This knife is $120. One fewer blade. That was a 2 full-size bladed knife, the improved trapper, muskrat clip and warney. This single bladed knife with a less expensive cover is pretty pricey, and you'll have that with the Northwoods line. Don't know that they're necessarily the best value in traditional knives when you just look across the product line at their sisters in the Great Eastern Cutlery line. But they're sort of a brand worth supporting, I think, and they're a plenty good knife. I really do like it. I carry it a lot. And this is just one of those American enterprises that I want to see survive. At some point, I think as the novelty wears off and support might wane, you might see pricing come into line a little bit better than it has. But right now, Derrick sells every one he can build or have built. And I don't mind paying it. What a cool knife. And boy, does it work. And you know, does it matter when it gets a patina on it? Heck no. I'm sure it will. Just not today. Thought you guys would like to see that, and I believe there are some left in this cover material and maybe one or two others. As of the airing of this video, I think you can still buy one. Oh, forgot to look at blade centering. It is standard GEC, on the money. Well, that's all for this one, guys. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and my Northwoods Hawthorne Jack are sharp.